Kanye West is an artist that you cannot do justice to with just a couple of his songs. You cannot look at his most popular tracks and get a sense of what kind of music he makes. He is one of the most versatile hip-hop artists of all time, and it can be pretty hard to get into his music and to know where to start from. So here are Kanye West Essentials, 10 songs I have picked out that I think display different styles that Kanye can do, some fan favorites and some of my own personal favorites or tracks that I feel are underrated. If you're trying to get into Kanye, see what he's all about without looking at his most popular tracks like Stronger or Gold Digger, which I mean, to be fair, those songs are bangers, okay, let me tell you. But if you're not trying to look at that, these songs will be my recommendations, and these are the songs that display and shine light on Kanye best in my opinion. They show off what he's all about and just in general represent Kanye. I'll be going in chronological order from first release to latest release, so without wasting your time, let's get into it. This is actually his debut single, which is crazy to me, but this list will not be complete without it. It captures Kanye's older sound really well. The Through the Fire sample shows off what he made a name for himself from, sampling. The story behind the song is extremely important. This was recorded after he was in a car crash that nearly ended his life. For the recovery, he had to have his mouth wired together for a little while, so he wrote and recorded this during that time period. Yes, while his mouth was wired together, given the name Through the Wire. It's one of his most touching and inspirational songs, pretty much laying out the foundation of his career and kind of like describing how his whole career is going to be. He faced difficulties and he continues to face difficulties, but he's always found ways to push through with music, and this is a prime example. It shows his love for music. Even though the song is a serious song content-wise, Kanye has some funny and cool lyrics here. The doctor said I have blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Who says that? You're in the hospital, but it's a song that always pushes me. No matter what I'm going through, it kind of gives me hope that I can push through. If Kanye was able to push through this and still have a very successful career, you know, why can't I push through something as well? It's a Kanye classic in the community. It shows a big aspect of Kanye, determination and grit, and that's why it's on this list.
I know it's past visiting hours, but can I please give her these flowers?
This came out when Kanye was in his prime rapping-wise. Many people believe that this is some of the best music he's put out, the trilogy, and I have to say this is definitely the best Kanye has been rapping-wise, and he displays it here on Roses. Roses is a story about his grandmother on the verge of passing away, however making it out in the end and staying alive. Kanye packs so much emotion in this song, not just with his lyrics, but in general with the sound of the song. The melody sets the tone as soon as we start the song, the choruses being so grand and impactful. The choir type of vocals really add to it as well. Kanye tells a detailed story of his whole family gathering at the hospital, and it paints a very vivid image. That's why I like this song a lot. And of course, it's not a Kanye song if he doesn't have any funny lines in there.
Plus my Aunt Shirley, Aunt Beverly, Aunt Clay, and Aunt Jean. So many aunties, we could have an auntie team.
I love the breakdown this song goes into in the end. One of his most emotional songs, and 100% deserves a spot on this list. If you're looking for a more chilled out, beautiful, storytelling Kanye song, this would be the song to go with. This is the intro from Graduation, and I feel like I wouldn't do him justice without pointing out how great his intros are, and this potentially being the best one that he has. This feels just like the rest of the album, like graduating in life, in the rap game, and in anything that you're pursuing, I guess. And it's a great intro because it starts off the album great. It lets you know how it's gonna sound like, it lets you know what the album is going to be about. It's a clear change from his previous two albums, and this lets you know. The beat is simple, at least a lot of space for Kanye, while the sample on the chorus makes it sound rich, as Kanye repeats the words, good morning, good morning. It honestly sounds like waking up and feeling good, feeling like you have made it, finally. The first verse talks about his struggles in college, which I'm sure many people can relate with. On the second verse, we see Kanye's character come through, bragging about how he's fly like Malcolm X, and now he's finally made it. And on the third verse, in general, criticizing society and the school system.
Some people graduate, but be still stupid. They tell you read this, eat this, don't look around, just peep this.
I'm sure many people can relate to Kanye in that aspect, and this song fits perfectly. It captures the feel of this album and the feeling of success, which is why I think if you were to pick out one Kanye intro, this would be the standout. While his previous two albums were a lot more classic rap focused, Graduation breaks out of that a bit with it being grand, rich feeling arena music. Flashing Lights is probably the most popular song on this list, but it needed to be on here. This is by far Kanye's richest feeling song, okay? By far. It's not even close. It feels like success. It feels like being on the balcony 30 floors up, looking at the flashing lights, the bright city, and how you're surrounded by expensive stuff. The instrumental is so pleasing to listen to. The synth that goes throughout the song gives it that bright LED Miami Lights feel. If you get what I mean. Then maybe a little bit of a weird comparison, but that's how I envision it. Kanye opens up with the iconic lines, "She don't believe in shooting stars, but she believes in shoes and cars." This man is the GOAT. I'm telling you, there's no one better. Although the song is talking about a girl and Kanye explaining how it can be sometimes frustrating for him to be with her, but the song is filled with Kanye bragging. The feel of the song is what makes it a must on this list. One of the most feel-good Kanye songs. This song marks a different era for Kanye. 808s and Heartbreak is his saddest album by far, and this is the peak of it. This is the peak sadness on that record in my opinion. One of Kanye's moodier, sadder, and painful songs in this discography, which is why it gets a spot on this list. It's got a pretty simple melody just backed by a drum machine. It's got that simplistic yet impactful sound of 808s and Heartbreak. It's pretty repetitive, it's got some very distorted and dry Kanye vocals in the background, which I think works well as at certain parts female vocals coming in, adding to the feeling. This is a very visual track in my opinion. I'm imagining the streets of Tokyo City at night for some reason. I can't really explain why Tokyo, but that's just what I'm imagining. But it just feels like being in a cab, just driving past everything and looking at the lights, looking at the people, while not being happy in the position that you're in. It sounds depressing, and if you're looking for a simple yet hard-hitting, sad Kanye song that can get stuck in your head, this is the song to go with. What many people consider to be Kanye's magnum opus, and I'd have to agree. Continuing with the sad feeling songs, this is definitely one of Kanye's saddest songs. It's very anthemic as well, one of his songs that always goes off at concerts. It also happens to be one of his longest songs, so if you're into that, this is a song that you have to give a try. The sample is great as it repeats throughout the song, panning in your ears. The sub bass gives off a dark feeling to the song and is one of the best things about the track. And the simple piano melody is just very impactful and iconic. It's literally just a couple of notes being repeated, but it's so good. Content-wise, Kanye has a moment of realization about who he really is. It is an apology in a way for his actions. Pusha T's feature is also iconic and one of my favorite features on this album, which says a lot. There are plenty of good features on this album. The outro of the song is a big hit or miss for people, but I think it's probably the greatest thing Kanye has ever done. It goes on for 3 minutes. These vocoder vocals that sound like mumbling, droning throughout the outro. His voice sounds like a guitar, but in human form. It's really cool and I feel like it carries out its runtime. Given the context of the album, knowing that this was his comeback album from all the controversy he was surrounded by, it makes the song special. It's a self-reflection moment by Kanye, an apology by Kanye, which we don't see that often. It's a sight to see. This song is a moment where you're listening to it. To me, it's more than just a song. This is why it places on this list, and a list without it would be flawed. I'm lost in the world. You see people talk about Kanye's production, how good of a producer he is. Well, on this song, you really get to see that shine through, as I think this is one of his most underrated and most well-produced songs. It features Bon Iver doing auto-tune vocals for the intro and the chorus. The title, Lost in the World, honestly does this song justice. It's a very disjointed song and pretty progressive. A lot of stuff and sounds are packed into this, and it's meant to display Kanye's state of mind in the lead-up of this album and in the making of it. Production-wise, one of my favorite Kanye tracks, the tribal drums coming in near the end are a great addition, as well as the plethora of vocals that happen throughout the song. After the second chorus comes in one of my favorite parts of the whole album, vocals layered on each other as the drums are loud, the 808s, the synths all coming together, and the song keeps adding and adding stuff. It's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess. If you want to see what people mean when they talk about Kanye's production being out there and how good it is and why it's so highly praised, this is my opinion one of the best songs out there to reach out to. This list would not be complete without a song from Yeezus, probably his most polarizing album and an album that splits his audience. This song, in my opinion, is one of his most progressive songs, if not his most progressive song. It has many different sections and features an electric guitar solo, as well as segments where the electric guitar itself is featured. It's an interesting mix, as most of the song is done with electronic instruments and machines. The chorus is done by Justin Vernon, who adds a nice touch to the song, but the feature that takes up the spotlight is Chief Keef. Yes, Sosa himself. You would not be expecting something like this from him, from Chief Keef, but he does a melodic refrain on this song with heavy auto-tune on his vocals, adding to the whole artificial feel of the song while also making it sound intoxicated. It sounds like you're speeding down a freeway, drunk out of your mind, just speeding down that freeway. That's the type of vibe I get from it, and it will be a great song to do that to. And now, I'm not advising drunk driving, and I'm not advising speeding and going above the speed limit, but that's all I'm going to say, okay? It seems like the song would be fitting for that type of scenario. The instrumental on Kanye's verse is completely different than the rest of the song. The repeating noises going on and on as the synths pan left to right in the headphones. It's one of his most psychedelic songs, and it's for sure interesting. If you're into industrial stuff and want to see Kanye's take on a progressive industrial track, then give this a listen. You hear about Kanye's attitude and antics and character all the time. Well, here it is in song form. Famous is of the Life of Pablo, in which Kanye experimented a bit more with making bangers with some trap production, and oh, trust me, this song is a banger. It's an iconic song in the Kanye community. Why?
I made that bitch famous. Goddamn. I made that bitch famous.
I don't care if you like Taylor, I don't care if you think what Kanye said is rude and all that, it's iconic. You can't say it's not, it is iconic. But just in general, this is one of Kanye's most accessible songs. The lyrics are braggadocious and there is a switch in the instrumental. Rihanna does great, the sample is nice, and it's just an all-around good song. Something more accessible, anyone can enjoy Famous.
I've been trying.
This song sounds like liberty to me. It sounds like relief. It sounds like you've let go of everything and your problems. It is one of Kanye's most popular songs, but for a good reason too. The production is great and sounds quite a bit like live instrumentation. The guitar melody that comes in and out of the song makes it rewarding, and the outro is really the climax of the song. 070 Shake on the vocals brings in a really free and charming feel to the song. She sounds like a child in a non-annoying way, of course, in a very good way, and it just kind of helps add to that liberty, freedom of this song. It's very anthemic and very uplifting. The lyrics, nothing hurts anymore, I feel kind of free, just getting repeated, add to that. Its placement on the album also adds to it. It's an outro on an album about mental health and self-love, so it's very fitting. So if you're looking for a Kanye song to uplift you, raise your mood a little bit, or if you want to play something while you're happy and really thrive in it and live in that moment, this is the song. But yeah, that is my list of Kanye West essentials. Kanye has so many songs that you could choose from, but I find that these stand perfectly and capture Kanye. But yeah, tell me what you guys think of the list. Tell me what your Kanye essentials would be. If you like this video, please leave a like. That would mean so much to me, as it would help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.